Hi. Today I'm going to ask for help from YouTube members with something that I need some help with. I hope I can stay out of the way here. Now, as a lot of you know, we do have a deep freeze, a chest freezer, and a small mini fridge. Now, what I'm looking for now is one of these. These are small ice makers. Now, what I need help with isn't really picking one. What I need help with is finding someone who actually owns one of these so they can tell me the energy rating. All I could find out was someone on a video said it uses around 250 watts, like 110, 115, 120 amps, not amps, excuse me, volts, and 2.2 amps. Y'all have to excuse me on the boo-boo there. So I'm actually looking for one of these. But I need to know the energy rating. So if you own one like this, it doesn't matter if it's an Igloo, Della, MasterChef. It doesn't matter what type it is. Now I am looking for one under $170, preferably cheaper. Like around $100 or so, which would probably be a MasterChef. I do know Walmart sells some pretty reasonable, but I need to know the energy guide because I have absolutely looked for energy guides for these and I cannot find anything. So I need to know the energy usage. If you look on the back of these, which I have looked and I can't seem to find the back plate of any of these, there should be a plate on the back that shows you the volts, watts, and amps that would use per hour. I do believe that is per hour. So I need to know this. Now the reason being is this is what I'm thinking about. Now I apologize if you cannot see this. I am using my large camcorder. One of our lights in our apartment absolutely went out, and that is the main light that we use. So I'm having to use the flash on my camera for this to pick up. I apologize for that. Now, this is what I plan on doing in winter. First thing, I'm going to build a shelter for this, for our deep freeze and our fridge. Now, understand that a deep freeze or fridge will not run if it's super cold. That's what I'm counting on. Where I live in Montana and where our property is, there is snow yearly. So what I'm going to do, here's two different things. I have an alternate here of what I can do, but I plan on gathering snow, taking it in, letting it melt, putting it in baggies, and then sticking it outside overnight, and it will freeze overnight when the temperature drops. Then I can take those baggies and place them in my deep freeze and even in my fridge, our little mini fridge. The deep freeze is insulated enough that it should keep everything in there frozen if I keep constantly putting ice in there. Every day or two I will put ice in there, rotate that out, let ice that's in there refreeze at night while I replace it with something else. The alternate way is the quick and dirty, easy way. I don't have to melt the snow. I just put snow in bags and in Ziploc bags. And I can throw it in my freezer. But then again, that would just be snow. It will not last nearly as long as ice will. And I will try to, like I said, I don't know if you can see this or not, but here's running the freezer in the summer. keep it away, from extreme heat and keep it in the shade. I have already got the plans to build something for both winter and summer that won't cost me a lot of money, but it'll keep it out of the heat of, say, being inside of a building, and it'll keep it out of the sun. And it's going to be reasonably priced for me to build something, and this will be for a year-round shelter. Running off my solar, that's the fridge, not the fridge, but the deep freeze, excuse me again. The light's actually blinding me, it's hurting my eyes here. This is for the freezer. Keep it in the shade and away from heat or extreme heat. Like I said, even in summer, unless we're running the air conditioner, which I don't see us doing, that's possible that we may run the generator from time to time and run air conditioning, but it's not likely. Run it off solar and timers twice a day. That's twice every 24 hours. Whenever something is taken out, fill that space with ice. Once again, this is why I'm looking for one of those ice makers. If we take something out of the freezer, or I know we're going to take something out, like a pack of chimichangas, a box of pizza, some meatballs, Salisbury steak, whatever it is, I need that space to be filled in, and I want to fill it with ice. So a couple hours before I take it out, I can start the ice machine and make enough ice to fill in that area. That will also help keep it colder. Fill any gaps with ice. Of course, I've already talked about this. And run the generator only when needed. What I mean by that is if it's an extremely super hot day and it's like cloudy and rainy and my solar panels aren't working, we may have to run our generator. Then again, maybe not. If I have enough ice in our freezer, it should go for 24 hours without an issue and keep everything frozen. Now here I figured most of these ice machines say they make 26 pounds in 24 hours. Of course, nobody's going to stay up for 24 hours and put water in this thing every hour and 15 minutes to make ice. I mean, nobody does that. I wouldn't do it. My girlfriend wouldn't do it. So what I figured out is how many hours a day I could run this on my solar on an average day. Now this is not in summer directly in the sunlight, because even in Montana in the summer we get quite a bit of sun and the sun stays up till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night sometimes. But I figured 4 hours. Alright, that's 24 pounds for 24 hours. Not 24, but 26 pounds. Wow, I keep messing up today, don't I? That's 26 pounds for 24 hours. That makes 1.8 pounds of ice per hour. Alright, like I said, I'm not going to sit there for 24 hours making ice. My girlfriend won't either. So I figured if I run it for 4 hours, that's 4.32 pounds of ice. Now, if you get a bag of ice from a convenience store, that's like 20-25 pounds, something like that. So this is not a lot of ice. But it would replace anything I take out of the freezer. So if I take a pack of chimichangas out and I replace that space with ice, that will keep the freezer cold. Now, I can also put ice packs in my refrigerator to keep it cold, which means I will not have to run the fridge as much. If we run it for 6 hours a day, then that would be 6.48 pounds of ice per day. That is plenty for us. That would be plenty for me to replace anything I take out of my freezer plus keep some in my fridge. So right here at 4 hours per day, if I make ice for 2 days, that's 8.64 pounds at 4 hours a day. Now we may run it longer than that. We may run it no times at all during the summer. It depends on how much my chest freezer is keeping up with everything and how much ice I need to store in my refrigerator to keep everything cold. Now at 6 hours a day, that's 12.96 pounds. That's almost 13 pounds. Now you're going, well, if a bag of ice from the store lasts 2 or 3 days maybe in a cooler, then the ice I make would last probably at least 24 hours. Because our chest freezer and our fridge is basically like a cooler. So I'm figuring 24 hours, refilling the ice every 24 hours. But once again, if I make ice today here, and I only make 4.5 pounds or 4 pounds of ice for that whole day, but I really don't take a lot out of our chest freezer, that would fill up a lot of space and keep it cold longer. Now you're probably asking, here's basically what I'm going to make. Our shelter. Now this will be for winter and summer. Alright? I know it doesn't look like much. This is a cheap Walmart canopy. It's like a $40 slant leg. Now I wish I wouldn't have bought the slant leg, because you lose like 2 feet of area up underneath here, because the legs go out an extra 2 feet, you know, a foot on each side. So it's supposed to be a 10 by 10, and actually this is an 8 by 8. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some walls on this. I'm going to put a support in the middle with wood, and I'm going to brace every angle. And in winter I can even throw a tarp over this if I need to, because these things are really cheap made. But here's our chest freezer. It'll be up off the ground, outside, unplugged. And you're going, well, how's it going to work unplugged? Well, if I'm making ice to throw in it, the cold air will actually keep everything, the ice will keep everything frozen. In winter, at night, I can leave this lid up a little bit and just strap it down to where no animals can get in there. But if I leave the lid open just a little, that freezing cold air at night will get up in there and keep everything frozen. Now I just need the lid open for a little bit, just a small amount, and it'll be in a shelter. There will be no heat in here, which means I could keep our fridge in here at the same time. That's my plan. But to do this, I make sure everything I have can run off my solar setup for the amount of time I need it. I only have 400 watts of solar, so I have to have timers for my chest freezer and fridge. 2, I have to have a place to store it and put it, especially in summer. During winter, I don't have to turn either one of these on. If I have a small ice machine that I can produce ice with and throw ice in there, or just leave the lid open like on the chest freezer, especially at night, where cold air can go in there and keep it frozen, I don't have to worry about this during the winter. Even our refrigerator, I don't have to worry about in winter. But summer, on the other hand, with me only running it twice a day, will it keep frozen? Yes. But I want it to work less when it turns on, which means any room in there has to be filled up. And if there's already ice in there, filling it up, then it won't work as hard off my solar setup. That's why I need to know about these. So if anyone on YouTube, whether you're in an RV or an off-grid cabin, or even if you have one of these in your apartment, it doesn't matter what brand or name it is. Preferably it's $175. You know, you paid for it. It doesn't matter what brand it is. If you could leave in the comments what you have, where you got it, and the amount of power that it says on the back, that's volts, watts, and amps, I would really appreciate it. Because I need to get something so in summer I don't have to run my chest freezer and fridge as much, and I can make ice to put in there. And yes, I know these are limited for the amount of ice they make. I also know that these make soft ice cubes. These make the bullet cubes. So if you have one of these, please in the comments below this video tell me what you have, where you got it, if you can even remember. But look on the back and please tell me how many volts, watts, and amps it says it uses. Anyway, if we get one, I will hook it up to my solar to see how well it works. I will hook it up to different power inverters. I will even hook it up inside my van if I need to. You know, and that's another way we can run this, is if we're running the vehicle, I can run this in the vehicle, especially my van. I usually leave my 1100 watt power inverter inside my van hooked up. So I'm sure this will work with no problems on that. I do need to see if it'll work with my smaller inverters, but I'm not sure about that. It might. I mean, it might work on the $40 400 watt power inverter from Walmart. I'm not sure. Once again, if you have one of these, please in the comments tell me what you have, how much power it draws, and how much ice it says it makes in 24 hours. Some of these say it takes makes 25, I believe, a pound. Some say 26, 27. Some say 40 per hour. Not per hour, excuse me. Once again, I'm messing up. Some of these say they make 40 pounds per day in 24 hours. So if you have one of these, please let me know what you have and the power requirements. Like I said, I basically take everything I get so it can run off my solar setup during summer. I only have 400 watts of solar. That's why I don't run everything at one time. That's why I have timers. That's why I turn things off and on and plug things and unplug them. You know, and only plug them in when I need them. Because everything I get is underneath a certain wattage. So I can run each thing, maybe more than one thing at one time. My chest freezer and my fridge can run actually at the same time and it doesn't pull down my batteries. But I would run the chest freezer in something else, like a laptop, charging a laptop. Or, you know, an ice maker in the refrigerator. Things like that. I would mix and match what I run. I do have solar lights that can be charged by the sun. I don't have to use my solar panels. I have a solar chargeable radio. So, like I said, everything I get has to be under a certain power requirement. Alright, anyway, if you have one of these, please, once again, please let me know what you have and the power that it takes. It should be a tag on the back of it that tells you how much power it uses. The only thing I've been able to find out so far was on one. A woman had it in a video, and this is the only video I've seen that talks about, you know, an actual user talks about the power. And she said it takes 250 watts at 2.2 amps. I mean, if I can find one that takes less power than that, that would be great. Because every small amount of power that you save can be used somewhere else if you're off solar. But, alright, I'm fixing to go. I have to get in the way of the camera. I apologize if you couldn't see everything. But please, if you have one of these little ice makers, please tell me. Once again, please tell me in the comments, because we do want to get one, and we are searching for the one with the best energy requirement usage. Alright, I'm fixing to go. I have to get in front of the camera here, maybe not, but I do appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and thanks to everybody watching my videos, and everyone have a good day. Bye.